All right, so in the revenue management side, we're looking at our key performance indicators, our KPIs. What's one of them? ADR. Key performance indicators. We have ADR, which stands for average daily rate, good. And then we have, what is RevPAR? Yep. Revenue per available room. Okay, and the last one is occupancy percentage. Those are the main three things that we're looking at in revenue management. Okay. So let's look at these examples over here. So y'all all kind of filled your hotels up, your 5-room hotel activity that we did last class. So you kind of all filled it up. You have your total revenue. How did we get our total revenue?
By having everything together.
That's all the rooms that we sold, right? That's the total revenue. That's the total money we brought in. Because do we sell everything at the same rate?
Yeah.
We don't. How many different types of rates do we have?
A lot.
A lot.
Well,
Yeah.
A lot, but on this one it was 4.
On this one there we had 4 particular ones, which were
Government,
5. I'm sorry, it was 5.
AAA, corporate.
okay. So we had 5 different rates in this one. They were all different. Were some pretty like drastic?
Yeah.
What was the most?
Even rack. No, rack.
The rack rate was the highest, and what was the lowest?
The corporate.
Okay, good. So our rack rate was $250, and our corporate rate at the lowest,
85.
$85. Right? And so revenue management is selling the right room on the right day to the right guest for the right price. So if I have a corporate person that wants to come for a whole week, what's that total revenue? What's 85 times 7?
$595.
$595. That corporate rate is going to be there for a whole week. But if I have a rack rate that just wants to come for one night, and if I take that $250 and I fill up my hotel, then I can't take that corporate rate. So you think, oh, $85. I never want to take an $85 rate. But we want to look at, we're going to manage our revenue to make sure that we're taking the right guest for the right day, for the right price, and the right room. Okay? And so let's go over our ADRs and our RevPAR. Okay, so let's do the first one. Sandra, what was your total revenue?
$33.15.
Okay, so $3,115 was our total revenue. Now, how many rooms did you sell?
28.
We sold 28 rooms. So now if we want to, So now if we want to figure out what our average daily rate was, because remember we took all these different types of rates, we divide our total revenue by the number of rooms that we actually sold. Okay? And so what is 33.15 divided by?
$118.39.
$119.39.
118.
18, oops. 39 cents. So you took some corporate, took some rack, took some government, okay, all those things. That's what our average daily rate is. Now our revenue per available room, RevPAR, is where we take all the rooms we had available to sell, whether we fill them or not. Because whatever we don't sell tonight, I cannot sell tonight's room tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Once tonight happens, it's gone. It's very perishable. Okay, so now we take the same dollar amount, but we divide it this time by 35 rooms. Why 35 rooms? 5 rooms for 7 days. 35 rooms are available.
And then It's 94.71.
Do we see how that works? Which number is almost always going to be lower, ADR or RevPAR?
RevPAR.
Why?
Because it involves all the
Divided by
rooms.
how many went through.
Okay. When is the only time that revenue per available room and ADR are going to equal each other?
All the rooms are sold at the right rate.
If we're at 100% occupancy. Okay? If we're at 100% occupancy, that means we sold all our rooms, which means we're going to divide the total revenue by the same number. Okay? But other than that, if it's 99.9% occupancy, our ADR is always going to be higher than our RevPAR. And so RevPAR is a good indicator because it allows us to compare ourselves to other hotels. Okay? So it allows us to compare ourselves to our comp set. We're going to go into a little bit more detail in each one of these concepts throughout the semester. This is still kind of continuation onto the introduction from last class. But our comp set, our competitive set. So we identify as a hotel who is our direct competitor. If I am the La Quinta at Cesar Chavez and Durango was Cesar Chavez. Cesar Chavez and Flores, over by the new HEB downtown. Pretty soon it's not going to be new anymore. But down by the HEB downtown, kind of by Market Square, is that La Quinta in competition to the Marriott River Center Hotel? No. There are two different types of hotels. Okay? One's a select service, one's a full service. Now, is the La Quinta by the Convention Center potentially in comp set with the Marriott Convention Center?
Maybe.
Possibly, because they're so close to the Convention Center, they could be going after the same clientele. Okay? And so we have to identify, I don't know if they actually are comp sets or not, the competitors with each other, but we have to identify what our comp set is. And that, using that RevPAR, is going to allow us to compare ourselves. Marriott River Center has 1,001 rooms. La Quinta Convention Center, I think, has 300 something. So we can look at that RevPAR to identify which one is actually more, is managing their revenue better, the revenue that they bring in based on that revenue per available room. Okay, it kind of evens the playing field. Questions about that? Revenue per available room? Okay, so what I want you to do is, oh wait, the last thing is, the third one was occupancy percentage. Okay. Anybody know what the universal formula for percentage is? Yes, part over the whole. Oops. The universal formula for percentage is part divided by the whole, bless you, times 100. Okay? So I didn't put an occupancy percentage line on there. I forgot to do that on your paper, but I want you to add it on the bottom. Okay? So in this case, what is our whole when we talk about our rooms?
35.
We have 35 rooms total to sell. Your part is how many rooms you actually sold. So Sandra sold 28 rooms. So 28 divided by 35 is
0.8.
0.8. And then this is where that times 100 comes in. Okay? So this times 100 right here, we move this decimal place over 2 spots. Why over 2 spots? Because there's 2 zeros in the 100. Okay? And then that makes it 80%. So that 0.8 represents 80% occupancy. All right? So we're using those 3 KPIs, ADR, RevPAR, and occupancy percentage. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I forgot you were coach.
With the sequence of the 5,365, like, or with the sequence that you gave us, was there any potential to like be sold out or no?
That's a good question.
You
I
have to
don't.
just keep
I don't
trying?
think so. I think it would just be a matter of trying.
Uh-huh.
The
'Cause the
the
highest
method
got
that
was
I got.
31.
Yeah. The method that I got was 34 rooms.
Oh, okay.
So there was a pretty close opportunity to be sold out.
Mhm.
But that so that one was that particular, those examples were ones that I was just kind of coming up with off the top of my head. And then once I was able to do that, I looked at everything all together and was kind of strategic in what I accepted to kind of figure out what the best case scenario was.
Mhm.
But in the future, because I'm gonna repeat this activity maybe once, maybe twice during the semester, and so that's a good thing for me to consider is
Like how to get sold out?
yeah, how to get sold out.
So the limit closer.
hmm So not only the best revenue scenario, but also occupancy. Now, some hotels really kind of focus on occupancy, and some hotels focus on RevPAR or ADR, and so it really depends. But one person I was talking to says you can't take occupancy to the bank.
Yeah.
It's great that you have 100% occupancy, but
If you're accepting
if you're
$50.
you can't take that to the bank. What you take to the bank is RevPAR and the ADR. That's the actual money that you take to the bank.
Our hotel is split, like, because we have like the luxury part, well, like 7 and villas and stuff, and they have their own management, so they think about ADR and RevPAR, whereas the rest of the house cares about occupancy only. So it's good.
Yeah, absolutely. And some hotels, I mean, it really kind of just depends. And you're probably going to see this as you go throughout your careers. Every GM has their own, or the owners, or the investors. They all have their own kind of course, investors and owners want money. But some people might focus on occupancy. Some people might focus on keeping that ADR high. And so, if you lower your rate, do you attract the wrong guest?
Yeah.
Okay. So if your average rate is $200, then you drop it down to $100 because you want to drive occupancy to get people in the rooms. Then at that point, you might be attracting a different clientele. And not that there's anything bad about that clientele, but it's just different from your normal clientele, which then the clientele who pays the $200, and the people who pay the $100 or the below $100 rate, they may not mix, right? And so somebody told me once that they'd rather keep their ADR high, they'd rather keep their rate high than attract soccer moms and ice chests. Okay, they don't want soccer moms and ice chests rolling through their lobby because the other guests that are accustomed to staying at a luxury boutique hotel don't want to see that either.
They're
And
gonna be
again-
getting looks like in Pretty Woman.
And again, not that those people they're just not the right type of clientele, right? That's why we have so many levels of service, so many different types of hotels, because there's so many different types of travelers. And so some hotels might focus on keeping their ADR high at the expense of having low occupancy. And just understanding that, okay, right now our occupancy is low. However, our busy season's coming up and we're going to make up for that. And so our yearly occupancy or our quarterly occupancy is going to recover if this is a slow period. Does that make sense? All right. Any other questions about that? All right. So